What if I told you you could actually create this image, this one right here? It could have been shot at any camera, and even the camera that's sitting on your desk right now. This image here actually was seen by 𝗙𝗛𝗪𝗏𝗪g, the great 𝗙𝗛𝗪𝗏𝗪g. If you don't know who he is, check him out online. And he pulled aside the producer in Germany and he said, this is a fantastic picture and this is a fine art piece. I've never mentioned that before. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what made it work. I'm going to give you some directions as to how you can apply this yourself using my own digital zone system called the 𝗙𝗪𝗓𝗓.
Everything I ever believed about being a photographer was totally wrong. Why is nothing moving? I do all these pictures, I do everything like this, and it's just not moving. I thought if I just shot one more thing, learned more, posted more, it would click.
I keep circling back again.
It took so many years for me to realise that photography is not built just on knowledge alone, and clients aren't paying you for your gear or your edit. Just think about this, somewhere right now, a photographer with half of your experience is selling prints online, landing clients, getting seen because they learned to see in monochrome before they ever raised a camera. Nobody taught you that, and that's what I'm going to be teaching you with the 𝗙𝗪𝗓𝗪. Colour lies to you as a photographer, and the great photographer 𝗙𝗛𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗪g definitely proves a point. So 𝗙𝗛𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗪g, shot for Vogue, defined a generation of supermodels and is considered one of the greatest photographers who ever lived. He's especially my mentor and my hero. So this is an image of 𝗙𝗛𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗪 shot on location in the UK, meant to be in Italy, and he told the producer it was a fantastic example of black and white photography. So see this image here, look at this image, and what do you see first? What do you see first in the image? But if your answer is colour, warmth, gold, skin tones, everything, then every black and white image that you've ever made has been built on the wrong foundation. Not slightly wrong, but fundamentally wrong. And the mono image lives inside every colour file that you shoot, invisible to most, obvious to the few, and the gap is exactly the gap between the work that sells and the work that sits there and does nothing.
I keep circling back again.
So this is the 𝗙𝗪𝗓𝗪𝗏𝗪 system built for digital by me, built for how modern sensors see light with that high dynamic range and the way that sensors transfer light into the camera. It's an updated version of the zone system, and most photographers click the black and white toggle and wonder why it looks flat. You go into Lightroom, you click that button, bing, it's black and white, because seeing in monochrome really has to come first, before the edit, before the camera, and before the light is even set. You have to start visualizing. I squint my eyes, I look at the tones falling on the hands and stuff like that and get an idea. You can't fix that in post. What you don't see on set, you can't fix in post, so you have to make sure you get that right.
I keep circling back again.
Okay, so from this colour shot, which is the raw file, as we said, this is exactly how I set it. What you get next is this, which is my 𝗙𝗪𝗓𝗪𝗏𝗪 dynamic range map. So yes, Ansel Adams had his own version for film, but I created this for myself as part of my 𝗙𝗪𝗓𝗪𝗏𝗪 system. And I'll be teaching you how to anticipate and how to see in black and white from this. You have to assess the tones in it, like I've shown you. So you got your tones going all the way up to 20. So what I've had to do here, okay, well, before I've taken the shot, I've had to work out that, yeah, okay, we haven't got many shadows here, right? Let's just go on to this one. So what I've had to work out here, there aren't many shadows, so I'm within the zone there. That's going to be okay. There's going to be no bleached out places. There's going to be no dark places. There's a bit there. But you can see here in zones 3, 4, and possibly 2, we are picking up on the edge of the bow, tones in the face and the hair that makes the face jump away from the background. Bear in mind there's going to be mountains and skies and all sorts of heavy clouds there to create that theatrical cinematic look, which is what I'm famed for. And then you've got details in the shadows, so that means that we're coming into 4 and 5 there. And then when you look at this outfit here, we've got tones and definition in there. So they're all fitting within this section here. Now, the most important thing is I'm happy with that. So then I go, okay, I'm happy with the way the shadow's looking. And bearing in mind, this is training for a while. You don't do it very quickly when you first start off, but once you get there, you start to understand what you're seeing. So squint your eyes, it strips out the color, and it gives you an overall vision of your tones with light. And that's the secret of taking a fantastic color shot. Now, the client didn't want this in color. They wanted it in black and white. That's fair enough. It would still make a fantastic color shot. Okay, so what else are we looking at? So on the side of the face, I've got to make sure that I'm not in zone 19 and 20, which means it's blown out. Well, actually, you could probably see that we're probably in 18 and 19 here, which means that there should be some details in the face. It's going to be a little bit blurred because it's only low resolution, but you can see here there are tones in the face on the dynamic range of my zone system. But you can see that the shadows are full of life. They've got information in there. The shadows even on the arms have got information on there. And that's the secret of seeing your light and seeing your shot. You have to match your tones and you have to identify the key areas that you want to bring out in that shot. So like I said to you, I wanted to make sure that the face had the right detail and the right tone and the right light on the face, which then automatically maps it to the background that I'm adding into it afterwards. You'll see the finished image in a bit. You've got the image highlights. You've got 13 to 16 highlights, separation, edge, detail, and 17 to 20 bright highlights. The midtones, the highlights and the bright highlights, you get a beautiful shot. And if you can learn to see that in black and white, as I said, you stand there, you squint your eyes and you look, it kind of takes the color out of it. It allows you to see the tones, the light. If you squint your eyes on any picture, you can see the highlights where it's forward, and it breaks it down into shapes and shadows and form. So this was the final image before I've done any of the hard retouching. And as you can see, we've got beautiful quality skin tones. There's no bleach white in the feathers whatsoever. This is definitely not AI. This was shot on the Fuji GFX 50S with a 30 to 60 mil lens. But yeah, you can see what's going on there. And then the final image that we've got, this is when I've added the backgrounds, the mountains. I've put it in the place. I mean, this was shot on the outskirts of Stonehenge, which is the next shoot that I'll show you. She stood in that field. The hay bales were real. And then the clouds have been added in post-production, not AI. The mountains were added in post-production, where I'd get photographs I've taken when I was on the journey, and I've mapped them in a photo composite form. You can do it in AI now, but I still do it in the traditional way. So that is your finished image.
If you want to get confident in your work, it's not just about the gear, it's about how you utilize your gear, your lights, and how you manage the client.
I keep circling back.